She's something we can proudly present.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of the Diz Unlimited podcast. I'm Craig Williams, and I will be guiding along our roundtable discussion today with my great friends, including Hannah Anderson.
Happy holidays.
Chris Vorbeck.
Hi there. Great to be here.
And Rhino.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? This is our final live show right before Christmas. Are we all in good spirits today? Are we ready to have some fun talking about Disney?
Ho ho ho!
Well.
I'm just thinking Christmas vacation. It's the holidays and we're all in misery. So
Okay, so I feel like we have Chris on the more positive spectrum today. We have Hannah at the miserable side, and then Rhino's just somewhere right in between.
I'm on the edge of a nervous breakdown is where I feel like I'm resting.
So
Merry Christmas to the children.
You're not even on that branch then. It's okay. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Obviously, there was a little bit of news. If you're watching this live in the moment or listening later on today, we had a nice attraction announcement that we'll talk about in a little bit, plus what is coming in 2024. And then we're going to go over our Christmas wish list that we have for Disney. It's, a little bit of an open-ended conversation where we say, hey, Disney, if you're looking to give us something for 2024, it'd be great if you would deliver it this Christmas with some big announcements. So we will get to all that in a second. Before we get there, though, I want to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content, you want to support us, book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It costs you no extra money, and you get to work with one of the awesome Dreams Unlimited Travel agents. We have two on our show today. Both Hannah and Chris are excellent travel agents with Dreams Unlimited Travel. So if you want to support them, you want to support us, head to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com and get a free, no obligation quote for your next Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland vacation, Universal, Orlando, and beyond, all the different destinations that we serve. But what do you say we just jump right into the big news of the morning, and that is that The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, will be coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios in fall 2024. Now, this is going to be utilizing the space where you currently have the shuttered attraction Voyage of the Little Mermaid in the animation courtyard at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So, yeah, if you've also been just like me and many people out there saying, it's a shame that space is just being wasted. Well, it won't be for much longer because a new Little Mermaid show is being put in that space, and it's going to utilize live actors like before as well as puppets. So like in the concept art, you could see Sebastian and Flounder. Those puppets are still going to be part of the show as well. So it's not like we're just watching screens. It's not going to be a new take based on the live action movie. This is inspired completely by the animated classic, and they're definitely going to spruce up the theater. They're going to add new effects. They're also adding a new song. Kiss the Girl is going to be part of it. So the concept art released that showcases what it could look like during the Kiss the Girl segment. And so Little Mermaid fans have a lot to be excited about with this announcement. I'm very positive about this change. I think anything taking the space of this theater is a positive addition for Hollywood Studios and Walt Disney World. I would have liked to have seen a different show featured in here, not based on The Little Mermaid. I feel like we already have enough Little Mermaid because of the addition of the attraction in Magic Kingdom. But I guess it's been there for how many years, and people still love The Little Mermaid, and the live action movie obviously kept that intellectual property fresh in a way. So why not go back to Little Mermaid? But what's our group think about this? Hannah, what do you think about it?
I mean, I'm kind of with you. I'm excited that they're using the space. Anything in that area is an improvement. I'm kind of just sad for that whole area of Hollywood Studios to be honest. I do go to the Disney Junior show quite a bit, and I feel like that needs a refreshment too. And then, of course, the Star Wars launch bay. I don't know. I wish we were getting more. Maybe we will. But I think the addition of Little Mermaid or refreshing it is much needed in that space. I wish it wasn't taking so long. I'm like, what have you guys been doing this whole time? So, I mean, overall, I think it's great. I'm happy about it. Would I like to see something different there? Yeah, I'll go with Craig on that. Like, I have a son, and I mean, he likes the princess movies, just as much as anything else. But the shows at studios are kind of princess heavy with Frozen and Beauty and the Beast. So, yeah, or I don't know, something Marvel related. Now I'm just like stretching too far, getting in my wish list. But yeah, overall, I'm just very happy to be, see something coming out of space. So we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Chris?
I'm so thrilled that area had just become a wasteland, right? And I mean, all three pieces of that, as Hannah said, all three pieces were not really all needed a little freshy fresh. I'm glad they're giving it. They're not just bringing back the ride that had been there for a long, long time. They're giving it a refresh. I'm glad. It'll be nice to see something that's new there, and even if it is something that it's the same, continuing the same tradition. What I'd love to see from them is, it always feels like when you get over like near Tower of Terror and everything, and then you're back there and you're kind of stuck. It'd be nice if they could somehow connect that where the Little Mermaid is to connect those, so there's more of a walk around, so you don't feel like you're having to walk back and forth along the same area, go back tread. So I'd love to see them do that at some point. I don't know, I haven't looked at the Google map to see if they can, but I mean, that's what I would love to see in that area. But Disney's Hollywood Studios needs more, so I'm glad they have more.
Yeah, they technically could do that, but the problem was they would be getting rid of cast member break room areas, and so they would be the ones impacted by that. But it's there. I know I've walked it before, and I've had the opportunity to walk that exact path back when I was a cast member, and it's like, yeah, it would be very convenient if the two were connected, and it could allow for some extra expansion too, but the cast members would definitely suffer from that. Yeah. Rhino, what do you think?
I mean, I'm happy to see some stuff going in here, which is nice. I don't know though. It is kind of a bummer where it's like it'll be closed for over 4 years, and then it's kind of the same thing that's finally opening. And so I mean, on the one hand, it's nice because it's definitely it's a thing where it's going to be family, everybody can kind of come and do it. And that's nice. But I literally was having a conversation yesterday about how that whole animation courtyard area, where I was like, I would just demolish the whole thing and like kind of either continue to extend Toy Story Land or build something else, like another like attraction or something. So this kind of feels like a sign that that's not going to happen anytime soon. So that's kind of the only way. Like, I'm not bummed out about it at all. And I definitely agree with you. Little Mermaid is like massively represented at Walt Disney World. But it's just one of those where I was like, oh man, I was kind of hoping we'd have something brand new on the horizon to look forward to.
Well, we have... there's so many movies they could still be mining, and I think that's my problem. I've seen a lot of people suggest, like, why not Tangled? Because so far, Tangled still has just bathrooms at Magic Kingdom, minus like Festival of Fantasy, but it's a stage show based on Tangled could have been a hit. I would have loved to seen them do something with Big Hero 6, so it's not just getting all the attention out on the West Coast. Encanto seems like it would have been an easy win, because I'm sure 10 years from now they will want to make an attraction out of that, and you had this nice in-between time where you're like, oh, we could develop a stage show on this very, very quickly and get that into the parks, so we're not just hanging out with a meet and greet area. It seems like they could have done anything, but I mean, it also these projects take time. So I understand that maybe when they first started this, it made sense to continue Little Mermaid, whereas now I don't know. I feel like they could have gone in a different direction. But this area, I was going to talk about it during the Christmas wish list that I have. Something needs to happen with Launch Bay. I get that it's a place to meet Star Wars characters, but the thing is just sad at this point. It's just it makes no sense, especially its place in Animation Courtyard. It is one thing when it was that like temporary, purpose place before Galaxy's Edge and continue to like build up the Star Wars hype, but it doesn't have a place anymore. And with the Disney Junior area, I mean, Bluey is the thing that kids are just watching nonstop. And I know that Disney doesn't own Bluey. They just license that show for Disney Plus and in their channels. But kids would literally melt if they all of a sudden announced a Bluey show there or just incorporate Bluey in any way. And I'm not sure where you get into the murkiness with theme park rights and stuff, but I feel like heads would literally explode. It would be like the kid equivalent of the Beatles showing up, and parents can actually stand Bluey too. So then it's like a
I think there's
win-win
some
situation.
adults who would melt too, so it's very
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah, adults love it too. Bluey's for everyone. We
Yeah,
all love Bluey.
my wife Kylie, she loves putting it on for Rory. My parents put it on for Rory. Rory doesn't care about the show. I now think in my family, it has become just for every adult that's in the house. So it's like, hey, if I have to put on a kids show, at least it can be this. So it's just one of those things. Like, do whatever you have to, throw whatever money you have out there and get it in the park and make that area a go-to place, not just like, oh, hey, yeah, it's there. And guess what? A mermaid show's back. It's been years, but we've got it back.
Well, this is also not until fall. I mean, that's what,
Yeah.
10 months away, 9 months away. In Disney parlance, fall can mean the last day before winter, so it could be a year from now. And they need to get some things, new things. I mean, to attract people to come to the parks for next summer. My guess is that's why it's a Little Mermaid, is because they could do it fairly efficiently and get it out there soon. But that's still a good time away.
Yeah, no, you're very right. It literally could be December, 18th, 17th, 18th. And it's like, yep, we still hit it in that fall time period. But I'm hoping it's not that long. I'm hoping it's one of those things where it's like we're giving you that date and we're going to be a little bit more aggressive and get it out there sooner. But it's exciting to finally use this space for something. It's not the only space that needs used and updated in that area, but it's better than nothing. And I don't know if that's even a good statement to make now. Like, Walt Disney World, whatever edition you give us, it's better than nothing. So, thumbs up. But
we'll do a good job on the show, and it'll be fun.
yeah.
I haven't seen the one on the Disney Wish. We're doing the Disney Wish in February, so I'll get to see the show on the Wish.
Yeah,
we like that one?
I haven't been on the Wish since the media preview, and we only got to watch for that small little portion, and I could not have wanted to be anywhere else more greatly in that moment. It did not click and connect with me, and I'm glad they're not going that route with this show. It's with Disney Cruise Line, it feels like they hit a decent formula with how they did Beauty and the Beast and Entangled and Frozen. Like, why not do that with the Little Mermaid? And maybe that's what this will kind of feel like back in this theater, a little bit more faithful to like what DCL would produce with a show. But I should say my expectations are low in that maybe nothing really changes from the old show, and it's just a couple new additions and lighting effects and upgrades to the building itself. And then, I won't be disappointed if that's all it is. But I hope it really is like something that's new and exciting that makes you want to go see the show over and over again.
Somebody mentioned Marvel, and of course Disney can't do most Marvel stuff in Florida, but the Captain America show out at Disneyland was so awesome, and having that out in Florida, something like that, where it's kind of brand new, not anything like it elsewhere, would be so awesome.
Yeah, that's
I
why I threw
agree.
out Big Hero 6, because I'm like, you know
Yeah,
what, that's the
absolutely.
best of both worlds. You get some sort of Marvel in there in that way, and you're
Yeah.
also paying tribute to Walt Disney Animation. I don't know how they couldn't really do a musical show unless we just have to suffer through that Fall Out Boy song over and over again on repeat, but uh, that could be fun to someone out there. But yeah,
Not
it's
me.
yeah, what do you got, Hannah?
Oh, I was just gonna say, not me. That would not
Yeah.
be. I love Big Hero 6, but I'm good on the Fallout Boy part.
You can only do so much Immortals. I know it's on Rhino's running playlist, though.
Yeah, it's not.
Sure, it's not, buddy. We both know it is. Yeah, so they could do a lot with this space, but Little Mermaid, it's what we're getting in fall of 2024. There's a lot happening in fall 2024, and we're now going to talk all about it specifically at Walt Disney World and really go over what's coming. And then, of course, at the end of the show, we're going to talk about what we wish would be announced for 2024 and beyond. But the first thing we're going to start with right out the gate is what Disney's new market push is, which is less planning, more fun. And we will negate that with the next topic that we're moving on with. But less planning, more fun. They're doing this through good-to-go dates for annual pass holders and cast members, where beginning January 11th, not necessarily, it's not going to be a good-to-go date on January 11th, but we will have the good-to-go date calendar first dates revealed on January 11th, where annual pass holders and cast members don't need a park reservation in order to show up to Walt Disney World. Of course, right now we don't need that for after 2 p.m. We can show up except weekends at Magic Kingdom. But yeah, good to go dates, a nice addition. All day park hopping will be returning on January 9th, along with the Disney dining plan. And then guests with date-based tickets, of course, you won't need park reservations beginning January 9th. That's when all of the big stuff is happening. And yeah, with this entire push, it's less planning equals more fun.
So they are in that statement. They are acknowledging that the over planning isn't fun.
Okay,
That's what's interesting about that marketing thing being like less planning, more fun. We know we haven't been fun for a while. Like
so
weird, interesting tack.
I have an issue with this, as I'm sure maybe the travel agents would have too, since planning is kind of part of their entire purpose to help people plan the best vacations. So then we can negate it with one of the first topics I was going to talk about, what's coming in 2024, and that's when they announced that Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes will be able to be booked in advance at some point, along with other helpful changes to Genie Plus in 2024. But the entire thing is, okay, they heard guest feedback that you want Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes to be able to book ahead of time. That requires, in my opinion, planning. So
yeah.
you need. So is it less planning
More
equals
planning.
more fun, or we hear you loud and clear? You want more planning so you can have more fun. Only one of the two can provide the fun. Is it less planning
Well, and
or
the
more
lightning
planning?
lane, specifically that lightning lane is going to lock you into a park for a specific day. So it's really like it adds in that like, okay, like sure, Jan.
As a local, I am definitely in the camp of less planning equals more fun. But if I was still traveling to Walt Disney World, I would want the planning. I mean, I hate the statement of less planning equals more fun, because even if they're talking about those specific things, we all know dining reservations, you still have to plan those out for the good restaurants. You still have to have a strategy of which parks do you want to go to, what are your must-dos and must-sees if you're only here for a limited amount of time. So you still have all this planning that's involved. I really don't want the idea of less planning being the thing that is pushed forward, because that's when you're not going to have fun. That's when you're going to end up being like, okay, guess I'm going to Nine Dragons or one of these other less favorable restaurants. I'm not knocking Nine Dragons. There's plenty of people who love it, but it's also different when you're like, okay, I wanted to eat at Cinderella's Royal Table. I guess I'm eating at the Diamond Horseshoe. and the feel like I'm in the offshoot of the what I couldn't get into Liberty Tree. But just let people plan. In my opinion, I don't know if you guys agree with it, but I'm more of the, go back to what people loved and embraced before. Not that they haven't learned how to work with Genie Plus now, and not that you can't, maximize your time with it, but why just not admit, like, hey, we kind of broke things. Let's go back and fix them.
Mm-hmm.
They'd like
Yeah,
to dig the hole deeper.
Well, they will dig a
You
little
gotta
deeper.
dig
But
a
we'll get
little deeper.
No, we'll get to that in a little bit. But Hannah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that, yeah, it does feel kind of like it's a little too late. And it also, some of these things are those post-COVID world changes that they made. So it is definitely mixed messaging. I also, even as an annual pass holder and a local, having to now go check, like, oh, is it a good to go day? I don't know. Like, I'm not, I think in general it's good. I'm not super, that doesn't mean that much to me, I guess. And then just, also with the planning piece of it, especially from the travel agent side, like, to me, like, having a plan sets you up for success. If you're not one of those people, if you want to come in and just, do it as it comes, that's fine too. But I think if you don't have the system there for that, then everybody's going to fail. Like, if you, I don't know, are not able to book things far enough in advance to get what you want, or book your, I don't know. It just seems like everybody's going to be, fighting for it the day of. So I think in general it's good. I feel like we're kind of, going back to how things were a little bit. But yeah, I guess time will tell.
Yeah. Chris, are you...
I'm curious
Go
to
ahead.
see if they bring back being able to pre-purchase Disney Genie Plus before, so you're not having to do it, particularly like we're in some of the busiest times of the year at Disney World, and you have to stay up until midnight to get Genie Plus because it may sell out. And that to me is, and then having to be up at 7:00 to book your first lightning lane, that is not fun. And so I think if they allowed you to pre-purchase it, so then you can either wake up at a reasonable time. What I hear a lot of clients say is, I'd like it like FastPass Plus was, where you could book a couple early and then it goes on from there. But that goes back to what Rhino said. That's a whole bunch of planning, right? Now, I think people kind of didn't mind that much because, hey, I get to think about my trip and what I'm going to do, and it helps you lead you along in that planning phase. And the same thing with dining. Okay, well, where are we going to dine? That's near I love doing that.
Yeah.
But I think being able to pre-purchase Disney Genie Plus would be a big plus for them. And I'm also, and this is both selfishly for me as an agent, but also for me as somebody who stays at Disney World resort hotels, getting little perks for staying on property is nice. And so being able to do that earlier than other folks would be nice. Not that all you local folks we don't want you to have perks too, but
I mean, locals already have the ultimate perk that we are local. And
it's your backyard.
If we can, if you're lucky enough to be local and afford an annual pass, then you pretty much have free reign to the park. And it has been such a long time since we've had to worry about park reservations and such, that I hate when they like bring up like good to go days. It'll make your life easier. It's like, it hasn't really been that hard. The limit on how many days you can hold for a park reservation is arguably tougher than necessarily getting into the parks that you want. And most of the time I don't ever have any booked out reservations. I usually do it day of, and I never have an issue. And if there is a problem, it's like, okay, I can't go until after 2. Usually also not a problem. So locals, I feel like we have it easy enough. It's time that I think Disney does put more focus. They need to have way more focus on the people coming in for expensive vacations versus locals. And I think they do, for the most part, pay more attention to them, but I don't think they always need to bend over backwards to appease annual pass holders as much, unless they are like of the DVC variety, or just out of state people who also have annual pass holders, then it's a different situation. But yeah, I'm all for planning. I'm pro planning, and I will say the only way I would go against the planning is if we could just take what Disneyland had, that magical period where they had Max Pass, that everything was done digitally on your phone, so easy the day of, and it was a system that worked right. If we could get that implemented at Walt Disney World, and that's all it was, I know Genie Plus isn't far from it, but Max Pass just worked. If we could have that in that perfect system, then I would be okay going forward without necessarily planning. But
Is
otherwise,
this in your Christmas list? Is this one of your Christmas list items?
it's not. No, maybe in someone else's, but it's not in mine. But yeah. So Rhino, I'm not gonna drag this on anymore. So you are anti-planning, though.
I mean, planning to a certain extent, like you said, like I get it. Like I don't know. For us, the places that I would have to plan to go to are Disneyland, and so I try to think about it in like comparison, but it feels like a little more apples to oranges because everything is so close there, and because there's a lot less of a dining reservation landscape to deal with, like that sort of stuff that you can fly by the seat of your pants there, as long as you're like, okay, I know I'm going to go to Disneyland on Thursday, and I want to go to California Adventure the next day, and so like that sort of thing, that's like fine. I like to like have a general list, like, oh, I want to do this ride, eat these foods. Whenever we do it is fine. That's what I hate, like being locked into very specific, like minute by minute of the day, because that are the elements that make me want to have a nervous breakdown.
And you're already currently there.
And
so
happy holidays. Here we are. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, I think
Christmas.
things that cause you to constantly be staring at a phone your whole day, that to me is not that fun. That being, at Disneyland, I've had a hard time. Like if I want to eat at Napa Rose, it's hard to get a reservation. You have to do it 60 days out, and you need to be on top of that. And I found it
bougie.
We'll have to go together. I'm bougie. What I always tell people with Disney dining is it's a journey, not a destination, and keep checking because people change plans all the time. And sometimes most of the reservations come open 24 hours before when people are figuring out their final plans. Those people who put, 4 reservations at the same time and they cancel them. And so you have to keep checking all the time.
And like you said, just using like Napa Rose as an example, is like some locations have that option to like go sit at a bar as opposed to like having the tabletop reservation. So it's also important to like, once you get in, go and check the restaurant too and see if there are other dining alternatives. Maybe, it won't work for maybe like a family of 4, but if you're just 2 people or something, or like Craig's case, you want to go and have a steak by yourself.
Just sit at the bar, or do what I do and just go sit down at a random table. Just hang out.
Is this seat taken? Oh, it's not.
9 times out of 10, they're not going to tell you to leave. They're just going to be like, it's the Corey Martin school of if you act like you're supposed to be there, they're not going to question it. So just go choose a table, sit down, and they're just going to give you the meal. It's going to be.
Do they leave you with the tab too, though?
No, that's for the next person.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we all have it. A little bit of planning equals more fun. But we're going to move on to what else is happening in 2024. And, of course, Festival of the Arts is happening pretty quickly here in January. But last week, Disney gave us the dates for the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. And it's going to be kicking off on February 28th, 2024.
It's still cold. The plants will die.
The plants will be just fine. I mean, it could be cold a couple days. They've had it before where they haven't been able to put out all the topiaries because they weren't in peak shape. So that could easily happen. I'm just happy it's not on my birthday. I always hate when it falls on March 3rd, and I'm like, oh great, I get to go look at flowers for my birthday. I know that sounds like amazing for some people out there, but for me, no, it's not. It's not quite the fun that I'm looking for. Festival of the Holidays on my birthday. That would be great. And then that means we'd have 9 months of Festival of the Holidays, which is the Superior Festival. And I think I lost everyone. Oh no.
I can hear you
Did I
now.
lose you all?
I'm back.
Okay. I have everyone.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. And so anyways, Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, February 28th. Excited?
I am. It's my favorite. So I'll take all the flower and garden I can get, actually, because it's like food and wine, but not as crowded, and it's prettier. So
Yeah.
it gets my vote.
Chris V?
And those topiaries are amazing and so fun to see, and I love it. I find Festival Arts is my favorite because I love seeing all the different kind of artwork that all the artists do. But I think that's my second favorite.
Yeah, I have been very excited. Some of the artists that show up at Festival of the Arts have started teasing their work. Jared Maruyama has been teasing a lot of his work, so it's going to be great to see it. But we won't be there for day one because we'll be in California spending way too much money towards Disney and Run Disney. So thanks. It's going to be great. Rhino, excited for Festival of the Flowers or whatever it's called.
I mean, it's not I'm not anti whatever. I like I'm with Chris. I like the Festival of the Arts a lot, but my thing is like Epcot basically has a festival permanently like all year, and I like that. So I look forward to the refresh in the booths that happens when a new festival is upon us. So I look forward to that.
Oh, we need a year-round Festival of the Holidays, so I can have that porchetta year-round.
I had it again the other night. It was good.
And peppermint beer. It's what I'm gonna have tonight. So I'm gonna make Kylie my favorite Publix soup, and then I'm gonna go eat like 4 plates of porchetta and wonder why my pants don't fit. So it's okay though. I'll also have a beer. So then also this hopefully spring we will have a nice update to Star Tours with new adventures coming. Of course, Disneyland is officially announced to kick off with the Star Wars Festival that they're happening at that park. So hopefully it's one of those things where it comes to Walt Disney World and Disneyland Paris on the exact same date. But in terms of Hollywood Studios, yeah, they're giving you a new reason to go back on Star Tours because, minus this time of year when it's super busy, Star Tours is now at that point. I feel like every single time I walk past it, it's anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. And when you get to that point with an attraction that does take up a decent amount of space and is not an e-ticket attraction, but I'd say a D ticket, maybe even a C because of its age. But it should have longer than a 10 to 20 minute wait throughout the year. So I'm hoping that does the trick for it, but I'd also be okay with them just saying goodbye to the Star Tours eventually. I'd miss the Endor scene outside and the AT-AT, but I don't know. I feel like Star Tours an update. This might be the last update they should have, and then after that, it should be see you real soon.
I just honestly, it's just kind of shocking it didn't go away with the opening of Galaxy's Edge. Like, I get it that it was like, oh, well, why would we close an attraction that people still visit? But it's always been, especially at Disneyland, because they have them both in the same park. So it's like a weird, you're like, what is this? And with Hollywood Studios, the way it is, it's kind of one of those where I'd be, I'm with you. Like, I love the Ewok Village and everything like that. But if they were to expand like Muppets or, do something new with Indiana Jones over that way, one of the two of those, just push those two further together or something like that, I'd be all for it.
Give me Muppets.
It sounds like they're doing Indiana Jones
Muppets
over
or give me
Animal
Death.
Kingdom.
Yeah. So give
Sounds
me
like
Muppets.
they're doing Indiana Jones over at Animal Kingdom, so they probably won't do that there. But
well, they should just retrofit the attraction. They don't even have to bulldoze the attraction because it's a motion simulator. You want to do a Muppets thing? Do that like that show you like, the Muppets. Oh my God, what is it? What's the band called?
The Muppet Mayhem.
Oh, Mayhem.
Muppet Mayhem. I know it was canceled, but it's one of those where I was like, okay, well, we all get in a van with the Muppets and somebody's driving us somewhere, and and you could scramble it, and it could be all different like crazy destinations with the different Muppets. It'd be fun.
You could, but I mean, ultimately, though, simulator attractions are rough, and it's complete dated technology. at this point
Mhm.
anymore. I mean, Soarin' kind of ruined that, where you're like, oh, I can have the experience of feeling like I'm flying, and it can be smooth and relaxing and enjoyable. Not this, where it's like, hey, get in a box and shake me up
Vomit
like
box.
I'm one of Rhino's nightly cocktails. So, because I know he's a shaken, not stirred kind of guy.
Yeah, it's just easier.
Yeah, saves
And
you.
it goes back to
I don't
what we
have
were
the
saying.
glass. I don't have the thing to shake it. It's
It
turret.
goes back to what we were saying earlier in the show about Star Wars being in 3 different locations, Galaxy's Edge, and then you have Launch Bay, and then you have, and it's
Yeah.
a little disjointed, but
Oh my God! Why did I say Disneyland was the only one that had it in the same park? Both parks have it in the same park. Sorry.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
but
gonna
I
correct
agree.
you.
It's even worse at Hollywood Studios because I wasn't even thinking about Launch Bay, the ghost town. That's where all the Star Wars ghosts go.
Force Ghost.
Well, maybe they can figure this out. But like I said, Star Tours, give us the update, and then next time you're thinking about updating it, let's just say goodbye to it. Well, last week
Bye, my lover.
I put my foot in my mouth when I gave an honorable mention to Summer House on the Lake coming in 2024 because they're like a day later, like, guess what? No, we're actually going to open.
Guess
in
what, Craig Williams? We didn't like the
2023.
sass.
Yeah, they did not like the sass. But one thing, so yeah, you know what? It opened. We are going tomorrow, so we will have our review of it later on this week. But one thing that definitely didn't make the 2023 timeline, and we knew it wasn't because they announced it would be 2024, the Cake Bake Shop. That is still on track for sometime in 2024. Hopefully it won't take much longer. I mean, it's a restaurant that's not like utilizing any new space. It's not like they're building onto the boardwalk for it. I just assume they have to change the kitchen over from mostly fryers and grills into actual equipment that would be more suitable for baking and such. But yeah, the Cake Bake Shop still coming
ovens.
to Disney's boardwalk. What was that, Rhino?
They're called ovens.
Ovens. I call them the baking things. So,
Funny.
I
Just a bunch of easy bakes back there.
oh,
Yeah, so they gutted that though. So they completely gutted that space. Last time I went over there, it was like it's the same shape as ESPN, but then like I don't quite understand what they had to do, but yeah, it looks like it should be the same, but it's not. So
yeah, well, I mean, you have to think about it. It's years of like spilled beer and food and the smell of greasy food that you have to just completely eliminate from that space. So I think it's probably
the
most
fresh sense of
sanitary.
the locker room.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I never liked walking into that ESPN because it just always felt like it's they're showing sports, but I also don't feel like this place is ever cleaned. So I'm fully on board with them taking as much time as they needed to make sure it was a beautiful environment for what looks to be a beautiful restaurant and bakery. But yeah, it's just I might not want to eat cake by the time they finally allow us to, which is sad. I'll just have to sit over at the cookie bar at the Summer House. Okay, though. Yeah. Hey, also coming in 2024, I don't know if any of you have heard about this. It's a new attraction. Haven't talked about it a lot. Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
What?
Where's this going?
Believe it or not, they got rid of Splash Mountain so they can put in a Tiana attraction, Princess and the Frog. So, yeah, it's coming along. So we recently got more of a look inside the attraction from the fine folks at ABC, a Disney company, and yeah, it is looking pretty good inside. I mean, they're going for a more realistic approach versus the cartoonish look of the film that is a cartoon, believe it or not. But we also knew that they were going for a realistic look. That's why, they sent me with Imagineers to New Orleans to see like, hey, this is where we went to study the foliage and get a feel for what the city in New Orleans is actually like so they can accurately recreate it in this attraction. And, I don't feel like this attraction overlay feels like it's taking a lot of time. It actually feels like it's moving very quickly because construction to the exterior has just been happening faster and faster and faster. And now seeing the inside and getting a look of it, I know it's not a lot, but I think it looks good. I'm definitely way more hyped for this attraction now than I was before, and I was already pretty hyped about it. But who's excited after seeing the little glimpse inside now?
I'm very excited. I've been ready, and I want more Princess and the Frog. I like that has a sweet spot in my heart. Being from Mississippi, being near. Actually, my parents live in a bayou, so I'm basically Princess and the Frog as well. But no, I am very excited. I hope they open up a very cool gift shop. I would love to see Mickey beignets. I cannot wait for this attraction. Give me all of it.
I would prefer frog beignets. Like not beignets made out of frogs, but like frog-shaped beignets.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible. The legs would probably get too crispy, fall off. But maybe a little tiara beignets. I don't know. Something fun, something
More
just
themed.
like better than just Mickey beignets. Mickey beignets are awesome, but I mean they're a little overdone by now, aren't they? Maybe.
No.
Okay.
No. Delicious.
Fantastic.
And they're comparable. Like I feel like they're comparable enough to the ones at Cafe Du Monde that like, they're pretty solid. Chocolate dipping sauce. I'm just making a case for beignets at Magic Kingdom. That'd be great.
Sorry, I had to just look away and listen. I just heard I heard Corey have a existential crisis and breakdown over the fact that you just said that Mickey beignets are comparable to Cafe Du Monde. So
Okay, I guess that was a little unfair, but I have had some really worse versions of beignets. So, I mean, I think for Disney, we remember that time they did the gumbo recipe, and it was like I can't even remember. It was way off. So I'll just give Disney credit for it. So
yeah. So, Chris, where are you at on the hype train for Princess and the Frog? Or are you not at all?
I'm very, very excited for this. I think I can't wait. It's been fun. I saw it when I was down there, in November, saw some of the work that they were doing. And I think I'm hopeful that it'll be awesome. I expect that it'll be awesome because they usually do great stuff. I think it'll be great. And it'll be great. It's a movie that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and so more power to them. I'm glad that they're doing it, and getting to see the new pieces of it is fantastic. So
exactly. So, and like only 15 years after the movie came out, so pretty good timetable. Rhino, where are you at with it? Are you letting the good times roll already?
Oh, laissez-les bon temps brûlé.
That's right. No,
that's my excitement.
That's all you got. Okay,
that's my excitement.
Fantastic.
The end.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. We have two attractions that are planned for 2024. You have Tiana's Bayou Adventure as well as Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. But that's not it. There's actually 3 that we know should open in 2024. You've probably already forgotten about it. I haven't. And that's Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh.
So the bottom of the poster says 2024 on it. So we should be seeing it in 2024. But the fact that it is now December of 2023 and it hasn't closed yet, I'm wondering, based on their normal timetables, I'm wondering how it's going to make 2024 unless it's very much towards the end of 2024. I'm sad. I'm excited to see how they give this show some extra love and attention because it needs it. And I'm excited to see how they integrate the Disney music into it a little bit more, but I'm still going to miss this version of the show. So it's one of the attractions that I try to convince everyone to go into. And I have such a fondness for it, but yeah, it's time to give it some extra love. And yeah, I'm just like, I don't want to see it go, but eventually they've got to shut those doors if they're going to get this thing open in 2024. I'm just like, when? And
it's always on my list of places where if you need to escape heat in the middle of summer, it's a great place to sit in AC for, 20 minutes, something like that. And be, have a great, and it's a great show, right? It's been there for a while, but it's a great show.
Love it.
It's, even if you don't, just go and sit down. The benches are comfortable. So I recommend sit in the back 2 rows. If you want to close the eyes, take a little nap, that's okay. No one's forcing you to actually watch the show. You can just, you can take in the little bit of air conditioning that you get, and and be excited about that. So, yeah, I don't know how they make the 2024 timetable with this, but we'll have to wait and see. It could be one of those things where they're only like changing out the costumes for the characters, doing minor upgrades to the animatronics, the speaker system, and then at that point, I'm like, okay, I guess you could probably get this ready to go pretty quickly. I mean, probably a lot of the thought and effort that had to go into it was, what songs do we want to use? Who are we going to get to record them? What are they going to actually sound like? And in that part of the process, everything else might just be simple. But I'm not an Imagineer. I wouldn't know that. But very excited for it. And with that, we have two more little things coming to Walt Disney World in 2024. I didn't mention Communicore Hall and Communicore Plaza, but I feel like we've discussed that way too much in the past couple of weeks that, even more people would be tuning out if we talk about World Celebration one more time. So we'll just stay away from there. But on the DVC side of things, it still counts, even though it's DVC. But you have the Polynesian Village Resort Tower that is still slated for a 2024 opening, as well as the first of the renovated cabins at Fort Wilderness that are becoming DVC properties. Those are scheduled to open in 2024, summer 2024. And they shared a look at the interior of the new cabins, and while it won't be enough to convince me to book, not just book, but buy DVC, I do think those are pretty good looking inside. So I know some people just love the cabins and how they are now. I'm one of them, but I think this also looks fresh and still has that rustic feel to it. So I'm all for it.
I like that they have the Murphy bed back again. But what's weird, and I didn't notice it until you put it up on the screen, is that where the Murphy bed is, the TV is like on the right. So you if you're sleeping in the living room, you can't really, you have to turn and watch the TV or something, right?
Oh, I mean, just for the couch in general. Like if you want to watch TV on the couch, you're like cocking your head to the right.
Why is the
just to be able
TV
to
there?
Well,
it doesn't make sense. Now I'm looking at it. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, it's Disney style with the Murphy beds that they have at the DVC resorts, where and other places where the couch is butted up against it, and so as you fold down the bed, it kind of goes in with the couch. And I know that it works well for them, but I'm not huge on that style. And yeah, the TV placement makes no sense, and I'm sure there's a window looking outside across from the the couch. So, you know what? People are on vacation; they're not there to watch TV. I say that as a person who won't turn the TV off on vacation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I've got to jump in and say I am not excited about that refurb. Like I talk about, like my husband and I all the time are just like heartbroken. I love Fort Wilderness. I love the campiness of it, literally and figuratively. And I think it obviously needed updates. I'm not dissing that. DVC, I'm kind of neutral on that. It just is giving me that like Disney kind of, I'm sure you guys can hear my dog in the background. It's fine.
I thought you were wearing jewelry that was really heavy.
Yeah.
That's why I was laughing.
All my diamonds. I wish. Yeah. Also, I don't have AirPods today, so I am just faking it till I make it today. But yeah, it doesn't, to me, it's like so much of that Disney where it's like, we're going to paint the walls white. We're going to give you one nice picture of a character, and that's it. So I don't know. I'm not digging it. I'm sad about it. And actually, the couch is set up that way now in the cabin. So it's kind of like same issue. Like the couch is on the wall and
but
like
not
that,
right
sort of.
up against it. There's a little bit of
true,
distance.
not right up against
There's
it.
a little bit of difference. But yeah, it's
yeah. I didn't think about that.
No,
Because the TV's where the Murphy bed used to be. And now the
Mhm.
couch is like by the thing, but yeah, it's not there. There is space though, because I was watching,
Right.
I stayed in a cabin earlier this year, and I remember like I slept in the living room, and I was like, I could watch TV just fine at night,
Yeah.
but this one is like, this would be weird, like looking at that angle. But you also make a really good point where I'm like, it doesn't really feel rustic. It kind of just looks like somebody's apartment.
Mhm.
Like a nice
Yeah.
apartment.
I mean, they definitely could
They all
use.
have that very modern, that kind of modern-esque feel to them, and they feel less specific. They're not doing as much of the theming, other than, as Craig said, you have Chip and Dale there on the wall and stuff. but they're not. It's not as themed. It's more, it could be a Marriott for all we know.
Well,
And,
it, it could use a little bit more wood inside there, but during the pandemic, I stayed at one of the Getaway Cabins. And I mean, in terms of look, it's not that far off. And if you don't know what Getaway Cabins are, they're
Yeah, I was
basically
like, what?
out. So it's this company that basically they're like little tiny cabins that you wouldn't want to sleep any more than up to like 4 people in. And they basically buy these campgrounds anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours outside major cities. And they're like these little, just, the kind of like they're getaways where the cell service usually isn't great, so you can kind of unwind and distract. There's unwind and not get distracted by your phone. There's no TVs in there, so it's not like you're just watching TV. They're just placed in the middle of nowhere with your other getaway cabins around you, and you're just supposed to use that as a way to shut off and relax. And I kind of get the same vibe from these, and I don't think that's necessarily a problem. And I think that's just where style is at right now. And I know that not everyone is on board with it, but it's one of those things. It's industry wide. It's not just Disney. And if you go kitschy, then that gets dated far faster than this kind of style. Just my opinion. But
I'm not anti the cabin's like interior being updated or anything like that. I don't know that it's just, my thing is like, you're still on a campground, and so it feels a little more I don't want to say trailer park. It feels a little more because technically it kind of is a trailer park too.
They are,
so,
yeah.
But it feels much more, well, I guess it's DVC, so I guess this is the point, that it feels like a living space as opposed to a vacation destination space. And maybe that's the point, right? Like, so it's a home away from home, so it does look like a small home.
Okay.
I
don't necessarily
love the Murphy beds that they have, because they're full beds, or the fold out couches. I know they're much better, but at least the Murphy bed is a full bed and mattress. It's much better than the fold out ones. So for me, thumbs up on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all are a fan of Murphy beds. Hopefully Murphy's still getting residuals on his name being used for beds, or her. I'm not sure who Murphy was, but
Mr. and Mrs. Bed.
I hope they're getting it. Yeah, Mr. Bed. But yeah, so that's what's coming in 2024. And now we're going to move on to the fun part of our show, if that wasn't already fun enough. And we're going to talk about what's on our Christmas wish list. And I had a full list spelled out, like Bluey in Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I've still got a couple more. But I'm going to kick things off right now because it wasn't necessarily planned this way, but it's been a crazy 24 hours in the theme park world. Yesterday, Alicia Stella and Orlando theme park stop broke that Comcast and NBC Universal bought up land in England and are using it as a potential new theme park. And obviously, they're building Universal Kids Resort in Texas and Horrors Unleashed in Las Vegas. And now they're potentially eyeing England as another full-fledged theme park. That was yesterday. And then this morning, the town that they're going to build it in, Bedford, England, they had their newspaper actually confirmed it. The Bedford Independent confirmed with Universal that they in fact did buy the land, and said, "We recently acquired land in Bedford and are at the early stages of exploring its feasibility for a potential park and resort at the site. It'll be many months before we're ready to make a decision to proceed, and we look forward to engaging with all relevant stakeholders in the local community," and that no creative content of the park has been determined, and they're still in the very early stages of planning in the potential project, whether or not it goes forward. The first thing that I want from Disney is I want something that's a massive swing, because Universal is not slowing down.
They announced the story living today again.
more
that was their comeback.
Living.
Was the North Carolina one now, and they're like, well, guess what? More super rich places. Like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure story living is perfect for someone. It's not something that I'm eyeing at any point in my life, but Universal is currently going all steam ahead, all engines forward, whatever phrase I'm looking to try to use with this, but I can't come up with it. They are all in on Epic Universe to the point that rides have become testing, and we're still a year away from this park opening. And you have Texas, you have the smaller establishment in Vegas, and now potentially what Alicia's saying and Park Stop saying is this could be ready by 2030 if they decide to move forward with it. Disney needs to step up, whether it's at Walt Disney World or in a different part of the United States. I think they're pretty good internationally. Like, I would never want to see Disney go to England. You already have Disneyland Paris. The people in Great Britain, they travel across to Disneyland Paris if they need quicker getaways than coming all the way here to the United States. But Disney's got to make a big response at some point, and that's the first thing I want from them. If they could give us one good thing for Christmas, give us something. Give us your best. I don't want to say necessarily a new park, because I feel like they can't find the staff to be able to run that park. They won't be able to find the cast members, but give us something epic that we can finally sink our teeth into.
A new park, it doesn't have to be here. It doesn't have to be in Disneyland. Pop it into the Midwest somewhere, or Maine or something like that. I don't know. Pacific Northwest, for crying out loud. Canada. Something like that. That's the interesting part, is that I feel like Universal kind of looked at their, like, what do we do well? Halloween Horror Nights. Okay. And like, all right, so like, we clearly, people are thirsty for this all year. How can we benefit from that? And that's what's really clever. And also, Universal doesn't have a park on that portion of the hemisphere, or the world or whatever. So I also think it's kind of fascinating is that in that video that they did, that Alicia did, was they were talking about there's another town right there that is currently being developed, like, to be the next, like, their Hollywood, like their next generation of like film studios, and Universal popping a park right next to that too. That seems like that's going to be great for business. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's, I don't know. You're right. Like, that there seems like there's so much potential for like anything to happen there. And right now with Disney, what are we going to get? Another blue sky announcement about, we could do this. Oh, look at, someone drew a picture.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's kind of the exhausting thing with Disney right now. And like you said, like, there's stuff that needs work, obviously, here at Walt Disney World and in other parks and stuff like that. But I'm with you 100%, Craig. Like, I would love to see something, and also something that could be accessible to people that don't just come to Florida or California. Put it somewhere else. Guilty, like, selfishly, I kind of want it on the North American continent so I can go easier. But like, just something else. Like, and it doesn't have to be a full theme park or something like that. Like, just bring that storytelling. Outside of the, and I didn't mean to knock the story living either. I'm just jealous, I think, because I'll never be able to make the amount of money it would cost that it would cost to live in any of these communities. So it's pure jealousy, and I'll be 100% honest about that.
Oh,
North Carolina's a better price point, Rhino. This could be your chance.
I don't know about that. It's still going to be $1 million homes with a probably $1,000 a month HOA payment for all the stuff you get. But I don't.
Cast member salaries.
That's all just guessing on that. But I mean, you're right, Rhino. They can't do Blue Sky again. Whatever comes next has to be a true announcement, and it's got to be something solid. And granted, I doubt Universal was ready for any of this to come out. Alicia is so good at what she does that it's one of those things where she just dug in, investigated with the help of her team, and figured out all this stuff that Universal is probably pulling their hair out about right now, saying we were not ready and did not want this to come out, but it did, and it's just another thing that Disney has to consider. They have to start looking at it more, because, too, if it's never going to be a replacement for coming to the two parks we have here in the United States, Walt Disney World and Disneyland. It's not like it's going to be this premier destination where everyone's going to want to just stay in England or just travel to England for that. They still want to pull people to the United States. But it also hurts when then they're like, okay, well, we'll do England this year or next year or 2 years in a row, and then we'll come to Orlando. And those trips that were a yearly tradition could start to become less and less of a tradition. So it's something that Disney, I think, should be concerned about in that way. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
really-
really smart because it's their way of tapping into that market. I mean, so we talk about it all the time. You know, how many people have we met at Universal? You know, who are international people? We meet a lot of Irish people and a lot of
Yeah.
British people there.
Irish,
you know,
Scottish,
very
yeah.
honestly. Yeah, and I always think that a lot of them sometimes are like, we really committed to Universal on this trip, and we're also doing Disney. But you know, and it's that draw. But now, if it's half the price, or quarter of the price, you know, or no, that's going the wrong direction. But you know what I mean? Like where it's like I just it's so much more feasible to be able to do a park that you could just drive to, you know, and you're not paying thousands of dollars for airplane tickets for your entire family. You know, what's always amazing to me is how many international travelers we meet where we'll be like, oh, how long are you here for? And they're like, well, 21 days. You're like, sweet Jesus. So, you know, now they can have those little trips, and you know, for them, it's kind of is like what you said, that will eventually start pulling at Walt Disney World. I feel like.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, I'm
think
happy
so.
for healthy competition. Competition's good for Disney, so I say bring
We
it on.
benefit in that too, you know.
Yeah, we all
That's the
win.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long
I
as they
just wish
step
Disney
up.
would actually compete. It's time for them to compete. As
Yeah.
Craig said, we've had a lot of blue sky, and now we need to actually hear plans, and because they have another park that's going to open in 2025, and they haven't really done anything to announce what they're doing in response, and they need like 2 e-ticket attractions at each park. But hopefully we'll hear something this year. That would be
hopefully.
my hope.
It's we're in a tortoise and the hare situation where Walt Disney World was the tortoise for such a long time. Sorry, the hare for such a long time, and that Universal tortoise is starting to catch up. And I don't think they're ever going to win the race and knock out Walt Disney World completely in terms of market share in Orlando, but it could definitely take a lot more. There's room for Universal
and if things
to grow.
take as long as Tron took to build, I mean,
That's what I'm
those
saying.
things
Yeah.
won't be things won't be built until 2075. I mean, it's it's a long time. It took Tron a long time to get built, and Universal's built a whole park in less time. It's so
also like this is their moment. Like, okay, they want to make a point about every difficulty they've had in Florida in the last little bit here. Okay, well, build a theme park in Virginia, like, or you know, build your next investment in a different place,
tried that,
and be
by the
like,
way.
well, we're just diversifying, you know, and like, so I don't know. It just seems very like, I don't know. Are they just intentionally trying to get Disney fans unexcited? That's the weird part, right? Like I like Disney. Obviously, you know, I'll never let my Disneyland annual pass go or anything, you know, even though I probably should. But like, it's like we care and we want the best and we are rooting for it. So it's not.
Absolutely.
I don't mean to be all negative. I think we're just kind of like, it's kind of the wind feels like it's coming out of the sails a little bit, and you're like, give us something.
Yeah. And I mean, but I want to say too, look at the list of everything we talked about coming to 2024. And you could look back at everything that came in 2023 that we went on and on about last week. It's not that they're not doing anything in a big way. I mean, they are. It's just everything is taking so long. And, you know, for some people, when it takes that long, it can never live up to the expectations after that much time. And it feels dated by the time it actually hits here. So I definitely don't want to knock Disney for like just saying they're sitting around not doing anything. They're doing a lot. It's just, they have to get more aggressive and try to be more timely with everything. And you know what? Don't be afraid to take a big swing here. Don't, you know what? If it go crazy, if it fails, it fails. In the grand scheme of Disney, I mean, it can't be worse than what they're dealing with Disney Plus financials right now. So, you know, for the parks,
there's a lot of
people are
things
going to visit.
I will say I am so excited to go to Epcot and not see walls every place. That will be I will be so excited to have. I know there's still a few walls around, but just to
Almost
have
gone.
it not be wall every place will be so exciting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think in the United States, if you build a Disney park, people will come. It just has to be
If
in
you
an
build it,
area that
they will come.
it has to be in an area that I think they can find cast members to work it. I think that's the most important thing for them in terms of weather issues. You know, it's that's minor. They can figure out ways around it. I know that
We
I
have
know that Walt.
hurricanes here. There's earthquakes in Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like they're not unheard of. They had an earthquake like last week.
Oh, I know. And you see, you know, when Disneyland Paris is lucky enough to get snow, you see how magical that is.
jealous.
Yes, it also impacts the parks, but it's magical. When you see Tokyo parks with snow, it's magical. If I see one more video from Universal Beijing with their Hogwarts covered in snow, I'm going to rip my hair out because I'm like, this is how it was intended to be seen. And
Yeah.
I just want to see that. So it's weather is just one small part of it. Go find the place that works, go crazy with it. People will show up. They just have to, you know, they have to take that leap. And we'll see if they do that. So we know they're willing to in some areas. Disney Cruise Line, they're definitely leaping in a big way. I want to see it with the parks, though. But who else has something on their wish list for Christmas from Disney this year?
I can just give a few of mine, kind of piggybacking off that. I feel like it's going to be a big year for D23, which is great. But that means announcements and things that won't be here for a while. So, in the meantime, I would really like to see, since it's a holiday season, more holiday overlays, things that they can do to existing attractions that would make it special or seasonal. And then also just working with what we have, I would like to see maybe free dining or something for my clients because, you know, things are expensive right now. And if you're not motivated to go to Disney already and things are so expensive, it might be a harder year for people to travel. So I hope that Disney kind of takes that into account and offers either some better discounts or some unique packages, free dining. I'm glad the dining plan is coming back. Just something to, you know, allow people to come to Disney World next year. So this would be my not very exciting wish list. One that I thought about is since they're redoing the Country Bears, I would love some TLC brought over to Carousel of Progress. I know that's not a very sexy topic, but that would make me very happy to see some love brought over to Carousel of Progress or
I
stuff
agree.
like that, right? Like, I know that Disney can't just open a new attraction or a new land next year. So, what can you give me like that, you know, to have me excited for some of the things we already have?
They are doing a
Mother
bunch
deserves
of
a new
things.
sweater.
Right.
Yes, she does.
Mine weren't nearly as grandiose as yours was, Craig, but just one of the things, and I mentioned it earlier, if they could simplify Disney Genie Plus a little bit, I think people would really, really appreciate that, figuring out how to make it a little bit easier. I think offering ability to pre-book it would be one of those steps. On my bigger scale, something like people love the Skyliner resorts. If they could expand the Skyliner to places like, if you could take it over to Disney Springs, to expand it over to Animal Kingdom, or an Animal Kingdom Lodge, so it had more ways of getting around other than just buses. I think that would be a huge add to, and it's such a fun way to travel, and I think people really enjoy it and love it. So
Agree. Rhino, what about you?
I kind of, you know, you said restaurants, and I think it's, you know, we have some stuff coming or some stuff that just open. We're gonna eat at, you know, and I'm enjoying the addition of these new eateries, and I was saying it in a conversation I was having with somebody yesterday is that, you know, one of the big things I've always loved at Disneyland is when they have a celebration, like they really have, like they go all out in terms of like the food kind of being represented everywhere as part of that. And I think Walt Disney World has definitely taken like leaps and bounds toward that. And like last night, I did Jollywood Nights again, and I got to try those savory
The popovers?
not elephant ears. No. I did have that, but the fried dough, the the savory fried dough stuff. Funnel cake. That's what you guys call it. Funnel cake.
Okay,
I
what?
knew I would
Sounds
get there
like
eventually.
so many syllables.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
the
In
savory funnel
Massachusetts, you call it
cakes.
fried dough. So
The savory funnel cakes from Dockside Diner.
Yes, yeah. So there was like a Korean fried chicken, and there was, and I remember thinking like, it's unhinged. I need to try it, and they were both really good. There was that and a brisket one, and they were. I was like, man, this is something I'm like, I'd love to see things like this on the regular, like more often, or like something that would open like this. And I was kind of thinking, I'd love to see some more like Asian restaurants open. Like I'd love to see some Filipino cuisine sort of represented, or maybe like Thai. Just like I feel like we're right on that cusp where Walt Disney World is finally starting to being like, well, some stuff can be spicy and some stuff can, be this way or that way. And I'm enjoying it. And so I'm wishful that in the new year, maybe we'll get to see more of that sort of fun stuff. So my fingers are crossed.
So how did you feel about Jollywood Nights on your second go around? Do you think that they improved it enough to continue it next year?
I definitely think it was an improvement from the first night for sure. I still don't think it was maybe worth the money to do it. Because it does feel like an event that for me, it feels like you definitely have to spend to get the most out of it. So like when you go to the Christmas party that was last, I believe, on some nights, if not always, you do get all those cookies and the drinks and, and you get parade, fireworks, and shows and stuff. And like here, the Nightmare Before Christmas show was great. That was great. I loved that. And the band, I got to see the band for the Tip Top Lounge. And they were phenomenal as well. And those two, like, that's kind of how I started the night. And I was like, this is such a highlight. But there is really like, if you're the Muppet Show, and then Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, it's kind of like there needs to be a little bit more. Like, more snow, maybe in more places. There was a DJ out in the center area in front of the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway this time with extra characters that weren't listed. There was lights and projections and stuff out there. So that was dark on the first night we went through. And so like that really did improve the vibe and brightened up the area and thing like that. I'd like to see it push even further back. Like Toy Story Land definitely has, that seeing the lights
quiet
up in there. But it was quite, yeah, it was like, I wanted that energy to continue, and Galaxy's Edge was like a ghost town, and I get it. Maybe there's something in there where they don't want to do Christmas related stuff, but I still think they really should lean into Life Day and do something in the cantina, like have a seasonal drink, like lean into that little bit of the ridiculous stuff. You used to have Star Wars weekends, so just get over yourself and like sort of do, get a B. Arthur like character that's in there, and that's the cantina. Like, let's see Oga. Like where's Olga during this party? That would have been fun. That would have been cool, and so I just feel like there needs to be just a little bit more life to it. But again, it does feel like such an expensive experience. Like you really do. There was some great food items to be tried and some good drinks to be had, that really should kind of be available more than just at that party is kind of I feel like what I'm saying, because the party kind of hinges on that almost. And so like I don't like a thing where you like have to spend money like you can't. I feel like you're going in and you're not getting the same out of it unless you do, because it's sold as like sort of that fancy old Hollywood, right?
But so my only thing I'll say about that is I bought my tickets like probably a lot of people did all the way back in July. So at this point, again, with what Erica tried to teach us about the girl math or whatever, I already paid for that for so long now that when I walk in to the final party tomorrow night and I'm spending money, it's not going to feel like, oh, I already bought this ticket and now I'm also spending this money. I already forgot about the money I spent on the ticket. It's been refreshed at this point. So I think that might be for a lot of people too, where they've put it behind that they bought the tickets. But if you bought your tickets like yesterday and then you're spending all that money, I totally can see how that adds up quick.
I will say too, what was nice is of some places I felt like they were doing the right cue where it would be like, they were the smaller portions of stuff, and so it was like, it would be like $6.50 for this thing, $7 for this food item and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did appreciate that aspect of it, where they were kind of like, okay, we know that we want to sell this as that dining and drinking really being a really big part of this, and Food and Wine does the same thing. So, it's obviously not the first time Disney's done something like this. So it's just one of those things where, like, I like that they leaned into that Food and Wine thing where they were like, okay, we know you want to have more. And so we don't want to sell you on like a $15 one thing, stop and you're done. So I like that. I think I would like to see the party again next year, because I also think seeing there was a lot more people dressed up like in the like how they wanted people to be this night than there was that first night. So I don't know that people completely understood it yet. So I think and I don't even know that Disney completely understood it when they planned it either. So I think now that we've kind of seen it functioning, I think I just like to see it sort of enhanced, because I think next year people will there'll be a lot more people dressed up, sort of a thing. And I think they'll be able to, like that band, that Tip Top band, they should have been on the balcony. And I don't know, maybe they just can't be up there or something like that, but they felt like they should have been more front and center. Like there should have been more of that throughout the park. Like I know in the Latin area we had our band and stuff, but
it was the best entertainment
band, Yeah.
She was so good. So good.
She was excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. I'm very excited for tomorrow night for my last one. And I hope it comes back next year. But Hannah, can I just ask real quick? How was Mr. Fraser?
Oh, he was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, but she actually sat down for it. You didn't.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, yeah. I had a dining package. So I couldn't afford Jollywood, but I could afford the dining package.
Where did you eat?
Ate at Garden Grill, but we took actually the food was. Oh, I know, that's true. The food was pretty good, and then it was kind of a compromise because I knew my son was gonna not have fun necessarily at Candlelight, so I was like, "Here, let's meet Chip and Dale, and then I'm gonna educate you on the Renaissance." But no, he was very good. Like it was amazing just hearing him. Like he's got that iconic voice, so just like hearing him tell the Christmas story was funny. I was hoping he would like get more personal, and he didn't. I guess when you've won an Oscar, you can just show up and do your thing and get out. But that's always like, we love that during the holidays. So
yeah, I still love him, of course. I grew up with The Mummy, George of the Jungle, Blast from the Past, all his movies, Encino Man, Airheads, yes, all those. So I love him, but it was when he started doing the podcast, tour for leading up to the Oscars last year. It's when I was like, oh no, he's kind of like really arrogant about himself as an actor, and it kind of bummed me out, but I was still hoping that he was enjoyable and did a good job telling the story. I didn't get to go because of my travels, but I hope he comes back so I can see him next year, if you think he was good enough to come back.
I think so, and the people I think so too. Like I've never seen lines like that for Candlelight ever. So we did the 7:30 show, and it was backed up to France for the dining package. So
I get it.
It's people are willing to pay.
Well, and it's just because with like, I don't want to say other actors are accessible, but it's really, when have you ever had the chance in your life to go see Brendan Fraser? It's something like, right. At some point I feel like I can walk through a park and maybe I'll spot Neil Patrick Harris. Maybe Rhino will hang out with him in Star Cruiser. Like he's around, and even John Stamos. Like I feel like there's some celebrities where you're like, yeah, they go to Disney all the time, and maybe you could like sneak a peek at them every now and then. But someone like Brendan, it's like, when are you ever going to see him? Does he even go into public? They don't exist
in the same realm as us,
Yeah. But I'm happy to hear that it was cool. I'm very jealous of both of you. But I know we're already way long, but it's the final show of the year. I want to send people off on
a mail showed up here, and I think someone's going to steal it. So.
Oh, well, you know what? That's your problem. I hope it wasn't valuable. Send the dogs out to collect it. Get like one of those clips where they do it. But so I just have a couple things that I had on my wish list besides responding to Universal. a freaking nighttime parade or any parade in general.
Amen.
We have Festival of Fantasy. I'm over Festival of Fantasy. It's had a great 10-year run minus its time down during the pandemic and after, but it's an old parade. It's a great parade, but it's old. It's especially after watching Magic happen so many times in Disneyland. Give us something more exciting. If it can be at night with twinkling lights, then I can also accept keeping Festival of Fantasy. Keep a stalwart by day. Give us something fresh at night, but come on, give us a big present. Announce a nighttime parade. You will have so many people out there just praising you for that, even if the parade isn't good. Voyage of Little Mermaid, kind of boring, but getting a little refreshed. Hopefully, a good show. It's about time that Beauty and the Beast live on stage gets the same thing. And it's not the first time I've complained about this before, but this show needs to go. And it is so much real estate. Put in something that deserves to be on that stage, not Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Or if you want to keep that, do something with Indiana Jones. One of the two has to go, if not both of them. But keep one, get rid of the other, freshen it up. Just you make the choice, but give us one of those. And then the last thing is going to be very obnoxious because it is so minor and minute. I think the only 3 people who care about it are myself, Rhino, and our friend Brooke. They promised us a Gaia vinyl record back in April, and they never actually released it. And obviously Star Cruise are closed, so I doubt they're going to now at this point. But please, I still want it. I would take any Disney releases on vinyl. Just keep pumping those out, but give me the Gaia one. And those are the last.
I realized that there was going to be a vinyl, and now you've got me shot up here, and then now I'm down here.
I wouldn't even listen to it. It's just a collectible thing. I want Gaia to sit there because I don't like the recordings they did of her.
I got a picture of Gaia right up here. Can't even see it. It's right here.
Yeah,
right here. I mean business.
We can't. Who doesn't love Gaia? Gaia is there. You go.
Autographed.
That's it. By Gaia herself.
Yeah, she stamped it with her necklace and everything. It's kind of hard to see, but it's in there.
I can't see that, but that's okay. But of the 3 that I mentioned, definitely the priority towards the parade, with a little bit towards Beauty and the Beast. So
parade would be huge. Nighttime parade would be huge.
Yeah, it seems like an easy victory for them. Yeah. And I know someone has to be watching social media, listening to YouTubers, listening to podcasts that have all complained about it for years. Not just us, literally everyone asking for it. Just do it. Figure it out. Do it. It's easy to say that from my seat, but you know what?
It would be a great draw. It's a keep. I mean, people would love it. It would. What a way to make your guests happy. I mean,
yeah.
Just ship us one of Disneyland's. That's fine.
No, I don't want one.
I'll take it.
I want something new and fresh. What I would be okay with in terms of giving up on this, it doesn't need to be a Magic Kingdom. Put it at Hollywood Studios, even though it's almost so short that it's not even worth it. But if that's what they have to do, put it in Hollywood Studios. Animal Kingdom, they cannot figure out nighttime after trying so much for it. Bring a parade back there and do it at night. Do it that way so you keep that park invigorated at night. It can keep the volume levels low enough that it's not disturbing the animals for the most part. Seems like something that could work. So I'd be okay. Because Magic Kingdom is crazy enough at fireworks time already. I understand not wanting to make it worse. So move it to a different park if you have to. That's my opinion on it. But anyone else have any final Christmas wish list items that you have on there, or should we say goodbye for 2023?
2024 list, the Disney Treasure also comes in 2024, so we get that as well.
We do, and very, very exciting that we'll have it right in time for Christmas.
Right, so, exactly. Literally a Christmas present.
Yeah, the best Christmas present DCL could give us, a brand new ship.
Right.
God bless us, everyone. But okay, that's going to do it then for our final roundtable discussion of 2023. We'll still have plenty of content, including a review of Summer House, and we've got some Tap House talks lined up with Rhino, and a lot of other content to come over the next couple weeks. And when we come back in January, right now we are still in the process of building out our new studio, so I'm not sure if our first show will be still virtual or if it'll be set up in our new environment, but we will definitely keep you updated. We'll continue. We've been posting some behind the scenes stuff of the new studio space on Patreon. And of course, if you want to support us more, you can over at patreon.com/DizUnlimited. You have access to various things at certain levels, including our Patreon post show, plus other exclusive shows and fun behind the scenes content. So yeah, get more information over at patreon.com/DizUnlimited. But if you also want to support us more, you can book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel with awesome agents like Hannah and Chris. So, guys, thank you so much for having this conversation with me.
Thank you very much. It was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone out there, for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you were watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave comments, questions, video suggestions in the comment section. If you are listening to this, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you can leave us a rating and review, that would also mean the world to us. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Diz Unlimited podcast. We will see you again in 2024 with more new live episodes of the Diz Unlimited podcast. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a happy holiday season. Stay safe. And for now, we've come to the end, or should I say the beginning of your future. Goodbye.